Hello everyone, this is TobeTada with another video of crypto trading. Thanks for checking by and let's dive right in. So of course the last couple of hours and days have been very interesting. We have actually the breakout pattern that we talked about a couple of days ago confirmed, of course, and we have a massive breakout here in price of over 22%. And as you can see with the markings here, this was still from the last video. We talked about the breakout scenario, and indeed this is exactly what happened here. This was basically the idea that here the price was going to continue to rise up, and even an alternative scenario where the price would have stayed among this resistance line and then there would have been a breakout. So indeed the first one of these scenarios has been confirmed, and even more than I would have expected. There was a price increase where we're now at $5,000, and you can see that we basically also tried to estimate the price hike here, and the first idea was that there is going to be a resistance at 4.4 and a larger one at 4.7, and that has also been fairly well confirmed. You can see there was a resistance at 4,700 where the price stayed for at least some hours here, half a day here, and the momentum was indeed so strong that the price is still carrying upward here. And you can see it's actually stopping here because we have another resistance here indicated by basically these lines here, these points here, showing that the price will probably encounter a resistance, and that's what we see here. If we zoom out further, you can see that here there is not much of a resistance until we meet this area here, which would be the 5,400 mark, although I would be somewhat careful in now predicting the price to go further up into 5,400. More likely, in my opinion, is that we'll probably stabilize around here and probably keep this for some time before there will be somewhat of a correction here. I also want to talk about the larger scheme of things, and that is basically, we can do this by basically looking at the weekly chart here. And of course you have to turn off lock scale, go to auto scale here, and let's have a look at the log scale here. And I think that is a very interesting chart here. You can basically see the Bitcoin movement over the last year or two, and of course you can see this massive decline in price of 80 to 90%. Which was basically the bear market here, and this is basically the first cycle we talked about, the second cycle, which has now been expanded to a bigger cycle because there's basically a breakout within here. So basically the cycle of within these within this triangle here has been broken, and there has been a breakout here. And you can see that basically the bear market, I would say pretty definitively, we can say now has come to an end, and which actually ended at the beginning or at the end of last year. And you can see basically that there has been almost a continual increase in price indicated by these green bars here. And in fact this has been longer, this period of an increase here, than actually any other point, at least in this chart here, for the bull market. Of course we don't have data going back here. There is of course more data if we look at the USD, the BTC dollar trading pair. This is of course the trading pair with USDT, and you can see basically this very definitive rise in price. And I think that also makes it clear that this is not going to be followed by a major correction here, so we're probably not going to see something like a correction going down here and further going down here. I think that is basically eliminated, the scenario for now, or even a scenario where we'd go further down and see a further decline here where we would still be in this bear market. Now this is of course never, it can't be ruled out completely, but I think the indication here that we have for quite some time, we can also measure this, basically starting here for the last 42 days, there has been a steady increase, and indeed in the last couple of days a strong increase in the price here. So of course in the more midterm to short-term period, we probably have to look at this again here with the, let's say, 4-hour chart here, and you can see that you can basically see that, of course, we have this massive increase here in price. Normally this does not continue to rise. As you can see here, for example, we have some sort of a small correction here, more visible here, where we basically have also a very stark increase here, but definitely followed by somewhat of a correction here, and this correction period here normally lasts a lot longer than the bullish rise here. And you can also see that, for example, here, you can see it here, that we have some sort of stabilization in price. Of course, if it's very bullish, we'd probably see something like that, and the price would indeed continue to go upward, perhaps even to 5,400, or even this more, this bigger resistance of 5,500 here. So we'll have to see what happens. This is very hard to predict, but of course it's obvious that basically all of these resistances from down here are broken. We could therefore see a price increase until, I believe, this area here. So correspondingly, that would be this area of 5,600 about. That is definitely possible. You'd have to, of course, then realize that this has been a price increase of 35%, so it is very likely going to be followed by a correction, at least in this sense, perhaps in a more stronger sense, where we'd see perhaps a correction more like so, and we'd have to analyze then again which kind of stage we are in the waves here. I can, I guess, look at this speculatively right now and say we're in this 1, 2, perhaps 3, 4, and 5th wave. There are different scenarios here. We have to just see what happens. So definitely very interesting now, and be somewhat wary that the price could be followed by a correction even here as well. Probably it's going to hold above 4,400 though, because we have again then a support from this area here. Let me know what you think, and see you next video. Bye.